Hey, how's it going? Dave 2D here, and this is the Dell Inspiron 7775. It's a bit of a mouthful, but this is the world's most powerful all-in-one desktop computer. It's running a Ryzen 7, which is an 8-core CPU, and it's a pretty unassuming machine, right? It's gray, it's not black and red. It looks just like a thick workstation display, but all of the components are housed in the back, and it's a pretty powerful system. It's pretty easy to open up, it's just 2 screws, and this configuration is loaded up with the Ryzen 7 1700, 16 gigs of RAM, and the RX 580 from AMD. There's room for an M.2 stick of storage and a 2.5-inch SATA drive. Performance is where this system excels, and any kind of application that can take advantage of a lot of cores is going to do great on the Ryzen 7. For single core stuff, Ryzen 7 is really good, but it's not the leader. But for multi-core stuff, these 8 cores do work. And if you do any kind of 3D modeling or rendering or math or science software, video, or certain types of photo editing, this 8-core system is going to do incredibly well. It's weird to see a system like this just crush a quad-core gaming system that's even running a 1080 Ti. Like, CPU cores are really important for a lot of applications. So in terms of pricing, this thing starts at $1,000, but the configuration I'm looking at is about $1,800, which is priced really well. If you go to PC Part Picker, once you get all the parts, including a cheap 4K 27-inch screen, we're looking at pretty much the same price, and the Inspiron looks way more streamlined. In terms of gaming performance, you're not going to get smooth 4K gaming here, but we're looking at very solid performance at 1080p. Light to moderately demanding games run really well. You won't have any issues to keep it above 60 frames per second. Even if you bump it up to 1440p, most lighter games will still be over 60 frames per second. Something heavier like The Division, even on ultra quality, it's pretty close to 60 frames per second. It's only really heavy stuff like GTA 5 and The Witcher 3 that are a little bit slower. It's not quite 60 frames per second, but it's close. The RX 580 is a fantastic card for kind of mid-tier gaming. If you want to stream or record your gameplay while you're at it, this is a fantastic system for it because of the 8-core CPU. The fans are very quiet when idling, but even under heavy load, they don't get that loud. I feel like they could have bumped up the fan speed a bit for just better thermal performance, but overall it's a pretty quiet and properly cooled system. In terms of ports, we're looking at 7 USB ports, one of them being Type-C. There's also an HDMI in and out, so you can plug up a console to this thing to use the screen, and there's an SD card reader and a headphone jack. Alright, back to the front panel. This display is really nice, it's the 4K option. It also has a cheaper 1080p variant, but the 4K IPS panel gets pretty bright with good color gamut, and after you calibrate it, color accuracy is on point. It's a matte finish and it's not touch sensitive. It's a great screen for content creation and for casual gaming, but my favorite feature about this screen are the bezels. They're super thin and it just keeps the entire product looking sleek. I actually think it makes the product look more expensive than it actually is. The build quality is pretty good. It's made with mostly plastic materials, but they're well made. The paneling feels solid, and the design is simple, but it's clean. I mean, there's another all-in-one product made by Dell. It's in their XPS lineup, and that one's the more premium version. It's a more expensive product, but I mean, that one just looks so much uglier, in my opinion, than this one. This is simple, it's not super fancy, but looks good. The speakers are located on the bottom, one on each side, and they're good, not amazing. I was hoping for some really awesome speakers because they have a little more room to work with, but it's just good. The webcam is also down here. It supports Windows Hello for quick logins. Image quality isn't great, and since it's located at the bottom, it's not a great angle. It kind of looks up your nose, but I'm okay with it because it keeps the bezels thin around the rest of the screen, so I don't know, I think it's worth it. The system comes with a wireless keyboard and mouse, and they rely on this dongle for the connection. The keyboard's actually really nice, way better than I thought it would be. Good key travel, great layout, and the wireless connection is really solid. The mouse, I don't like. It has a shape kind of like the Microsoft Arc mouse, which I've never been a big fan of, but it just feels cheap. It's too light, and the ergonomics are no good for me. Now, kind of related, I've been using these headphones to test out the games on this system. These are the Corsair Void Pro. They're relatively new, they're $80, and they're awesome. Excellent build quality, metal yokes, metal headband, RGB lights, Dolby 7.1 sound. For the money, this is one of the best headsets I've used. Now, it does require a USB connection, and on laptops that's not ideal, but on a system like this that has 7 USB ports, it's a great fit. So in general, I really like this system. There are a couple issues though. First, I don't like the fact that the GPU isn't upgradable. Everything else in there is. The CPU, the RAM, the drives, like everything in this thing can be replaced except for the GPU. That seems to be baked on. Now understand that for the target demographic, for content creators and for casual gaming, an upgradable GPU isn't that important because you're not switching them out that often, but it would have been nice. If this thing did have an upgradable GPU, this thing would have been a lot cooler. The other thing I don't love is the tilt on the stand. So it has tilt, but there's no rotation or height adjustment. It's a great height for me, but if you have an unconventional table height or just a weird table setup, you might miss that adjustment. The last thing is the lack of a Thunderbolt 3 port. Now I know this is not a super expensive system, but a Thunderbolt 3 port would have added a lot of expandability and user upgradability. So that's basically it, the 27-inch Inspiron all-in-one. This is a very clean looking system with great performance and a very reasonable price tag. The thing that makes this thing special is the 8-core CPU. They're able to fit something this powerful into a form factor like this. They're the first people to do it. I'm sure more companies will do it soon, and Apple has their iMac Pros coming out at the end of the year, but those will be a lot more expensive than this one. But yeah, cool system. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. See you guys next time.